Lads, welcome back to Fusion YGO, and today, if you didn't put two and two together, we're doing Zombie World Eldlich. It is, in my opinion, the best anti-meta strategy in today's format. It is so good, I would put it up against literally any meta deck. Let me correct myself. I have put it up against every single meta deck, and I have come out on the winning end. This deck I have played for a few months now. You've seen an old iteration on it on the channel. I updated it. This version is absolutely incredible. Lucas, the teammate, he took it to another locals. He went X1 with it. The only deck we lost to was the only bad matchup the deck really has, it's Shadal's. I've done an exhibition with this on Chrono's channel, on his streams. If you haven't checked out his stuff, his links are typically in the description of my videos. Really good dude, holds weekly or bi-weekly tournaments for Yu-Gi-Oh! On Nexus. Really fun. So I got to, I showed that off in an exhibition match. It's super good, it is super consistent. You were able to play back from the brink of death and win. The deck absolutely is not a quitter. It will spiral out of control really fast, and your opponent has to make perfect choices almost the entire game. So let's go ahead and dive right into it with my card choices, the deck profile as a whole. Like I said, if you like making your opponent squirm under the pressure of your thumb, then this is the deck for you, and you will make your opponent squirm. It's gonna be fun. Let's dive into it. All right, we're going to get started, and this one is going to be with the Zombie World package, Shock Horror. So we're gonna start with Unizombie. We run 3 copies of Unizombie. Unizombie gets everything started. We're gonna zoom that in a little bit more because we need it to be purty. So we have 3 copies of Unizombie. Unizombie is letting you dump a zombie from your hand to the graveyard, and then it increases the card's level by 1, or it can dump one from the deck, and you can dump one from the deck to gain a level as well. It's just really good for getting your graveyard set up for all of your zombie plays. Really powerful. It's the only real normal summon in the deck. The rest of, there's one other normal summon, 2 other normal summons, but minimal. 2 copies of Necro World Banshee. This card, you are able to banish it from your field or graveyard to just play Zombie World from the deck. It's really good. And then when it's on the field and Zombie World's on the field, your opponent can't target it or destroy it with card effects. That's awesome. It doesn't come up a lot, but this card is incredible, and it's just so good. It's such a good card. It is necessary for the strategy. It allows us to bypass playing things such as terraforming and Metaverse because it works from field or grave to banish to play. 1 copy of Glow Up Bloom. This being a tuner doesn't matter, I don't play any synchros, but when it's sent to the graveyard, I can banish this card to add a zombie monster, a level 5 or higher zombie monster from my deck to my hand, and if Zombie World is on the field, I can when I banish it, instead of adding it to hand, I can summon it instead. 1 copy of Doom King Ballardrock. Doom King Ballardrock is an incredible card. Being able to, as a once per turn, you can use each of these effects when a zombie monster activates its effects. So the quick effects are either negate an effect or banish a card from the field or graveyard. Banish a monster on the field or in the graveyard. It's a really good card, gets rid of things out of the graveyard, and it just sets up resources. And finally, 2 copies of Zombie World. Zombie World, changing everything to zombies, is actually incredibly powerful, especially in this format, with things such as it hurts Adagnisters because they require Cyberse monsters. It hurts Salamangreat because they require Cyberse monsters. It hurts Tri-Brigade because they can't banish zombies to summon their Link monsters. This card just really hurts a lot of meta strategies, and with things that we run in the main and in the side deck, this card can cripple and win games for you. So that's going to do it for the zombie package. Let's check out the next packet. It's time for the Golden Boy. 2 copies of Eldlich, the Golden Lord. This card actually is incredibly useful outside of just being a big boy and being able to fusion summon the Mad Golden Lord and things like that with him. Why he's useful is you could discard him and a spell or trap card from your hand to target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. It doesn't destroy it. So if it doesn't have targeting protection, but it has destruction protection, you can bypass that. The other thing is that it can summon not only itself, you can also summon Doom King Ballardrock off of its effect from the grave to be able to summon a really big 3,800 Doom King Ballardrock, which is really cool. 3 copies of Cursed Eldland. Eldland is your consistency card for your Eldlich package. It can either add Eldlich or anything with Golden Land in its name from your deck to your hand. We're paying 800. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to dump either an Eldlich or a Golden Land spell or trap from your deck to your graveyard. It's really good. It's a continuous spell card. It is one of the best searchers in the game, but it's important just for being able to set up plays. 1 copy of Eldlixir of Black Awakening. So this card's really good in grind games, and it can be really good as a starter card. So if you have an Eldlich on field, you get to special summon a zombie monster from your hand or deck in defense position. So you can, I've used this card to get out things like Necroworld Banshee. I've used it to get this out of my deck. I've used it to summon Doom King Ballardrock. I've used it to play Glow Up Bloom so I can make something in the extra deck to be able to just break boards. This card's incredibly versatile, depending on game state especially. 1 copy of Eldlixir of White Destiny. This just helps me play around things that try to banish my Eldlich from graveyard, so I can deal with the threats. 3 copies of Eldlixir of Scarlet Sanguini. Sanguine is really good, being able to special summon from deck or graveyard. Its power, like in that regard, is just ridiculous. If you know, you know. And then being able to banish, all the Eldlixirs are able to banish themselves, not during the turn they're sent to the graveyard, but they're able to, or they've been used, but you're able to set a Golden Land spell or trap. Speaking of the Golden Land spells or traps, we've got 3 copies of Conquistador, the Golden Land. So Conquistador lets you pop a card, a face-up card on the field, and we only run 3 of it. And then we got 2 copies of Huaquero, because Huaquero is able to banish a card from the graveyard. You can substitute either of these. You can run 3 and 2 of either. You can run 3 and 3 if you can't afford some of the other cards in this list. But Huaquero is just incredibly powerful, and I have found that this ratio of cards has been absolutely perfect. If you're having trouble with decks that try to recur things out of the graveyard a lot, Huaquero might be better. I just find that Conquistador is really good at helping me break apart boards and keep my opponent on the back foot. So that's why I run it the way I'm running it. Now we're going to dive into the supplemental cards, and that's a lot of cards. All right, so to continue on, you will notice that this is not a lot of monster cards. Trust me, it doesn't matter. 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Forehead. It's Ash, it's a zombie. It activates so you can use Ballardrock's banishing effect. It's just good. And then 2 copies of Ghost Spell. So this card I'm actually contemplating moving up to 3. I don't know what I'd cut, but I'm thinking about running it at 3 literally for the Shaddoll matchup. Because Ariel being able to banish 3 cards from the graveyard, this card stops it. I really like that. I don't like my cards being banished, so Ghost Spell might be a 3 of. That might be the only change I'd want to make to the deck, but like I said, I don't know what I'd cut. Next up is 3 copies of Super Poly. That pretty much foretells you exactly what's going to be in the extra deck. 1 copy of Called by the Grave. It's Called by the Grave. This card's incredible. I wish it was at 3, but I understand why it's at 1. 1 copy of Foolish Burial. It just helps you start combos. It can help unbrick hands. In grind games, it's just an extra card you can pitch with Eldlich. It just kind of depends. In established games, Foolish Burial I normally will just discard because it doesn't benefit me any. But it can also get you to like Necroworld Banshee to be able to play your 2nd copy of Zombie World and put your opponent in a position where they're like, well, why? 3 copies of Ice Dragon's Prison. This deck isn't budget, if you couldn't tell already. But Ice Dragon's Prison, being able to use it to banish, like you get to take one of their monsters, and because everything's zombies, you can get rid of 2 things. So this not only deals with Dragoon, it deals with the entire board, and that's insane. And then finally, 3 copies of Lay Solemn Strike. It's Solemn Strike. I don't know how else to put this. This card is super useful. It allows you to play less hand traps. You could substitute this out with like Infinite Impermanence or other cards. I just find Solemn Strike is better because I want to have the fewest ways my opponent can actually interact with what I'm doing. And that's why I like things like Super Poly and Solemn Strike in the main deck. Let's hit the extra deck before we dive into the side deck, and then we'll, you know, kick you out of here. All right, into the extra deck. So we're running 2 copies of Vampire Sucker. You have to. You don't need a third. It never comes up. It's just really powerful. It's the basic Link monster. You'll go for this the most. For the Link ones, we're running Link Spider and Relinquished Anima. This card is just for Glow Up Bloom. That's the whole reason it's here. It has come up. It does come up occasionally. Link summoning into this with Glow Up Bloom while you have Zombie World on the field can actually really pick apart a board. It can put your opponent in a weird spot because if they have to choose what they're going to stop. Do they want to let this live and let you get the summon, or do they want to stop this or do they want to stop your summon and then they still get something eaten up? Link Spider is just to continue to get your Conquistador and Huaquero into the graveyard. Then we've got Nightmares, the Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn. This is my pretty one. You can't tell, but it's the collector's rare one. My Unicorn, it's Unicorn, and Phoenix is for back row removal. I am the control deck. Blackluster Soldier, it's one of your win conditions. This card's incredibly powerful. 1 copy of Underworld Goddess of the Closed World. I don't use it a whole lot. It's really in here as a cheese factor. It's come up once for me in the entire time I've had it in this deck. It's really powerful. It's just there as an option. This is a literal flex pick. You could put whatever you want here. If you wanted to put Boral Sword or Access Code Talker or anything else here, you could do so. It would be perfectly fine. Constellar Pleiades, Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon, Gustav Max, and Divine Arsenal Double Azus. This is because if you get Conquistador Huaquero or 2 Conquistadors or 2 Huaqueros or whatever, you can actually make this and bounce cards on the field to the back to the hand, then attack with it and make Zeus, and then you have a Zeus pop, which is really good. This is for pushing for game with double Eldlich on field, being able to burn for punch for 3k or 35 and 25, and then overlay and then burn for 2k is really good. And then Zeus is Zeus. And last is the fusions. We've got 1 Eldlich, the Mad Golden Lord. This card is really good. It counts as Eldlich on the field. Can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. You can tribute a zombie monster and then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Take control of the monster, but it can't attack or activate its effects. And then you can only use it once per turn. It's really good. He's huge, which is why it's so nice. We got 1 Drago Negro Nether Soul Dragon. This card's incredible. Super polying away things on your opponent's field with Zombie World on the field. This is just a really cool flex pick. The last 2, okay, so I'm running one of these as cheese and one of these is legit. I have a lot of Dragon Link I deal with, but this should be Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, but I'm playing Borreload Furious Dragon because it's funny. Either of these, okay, so we have Mud Dragon of the Swamp as the other card. So you could substitute this with Predaplant or Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, and you could keep this if you see a lot of Dragon Link and you want to deal with dark decks like Shadalls and things like that. This can be really good. It just kind of depends on what you see as your niche and your need. I literally just ran this because it was funny. That's going to do it for the extra deck. Let's go ahead and talk about the side deck. And finally, the side deck. So we've got 2 copies of Godarla. This could be any kaiju. It could be Lava Golem. I'm running Godarla literally just to deal with the barrier stun, the barrier statue lock, being able to stop that from happening. Tribute over stuff. Whatever. This, like I said, could be any form of tribution. You could put, honestly, you could put Sphere mode here and it would be fine. This card is just the one I chose. Then we've got 2 copies of Artifact Lancia. This is just to deal with things like dinosaurs, Tri-Brigade, any deck that, you know, likes to banish stuff. 1 copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone. Feather Duster is really, like, this is just to deal with back row. We haven't gotten to the cards that I actually would change out of my side deck moving forward, which is what we're about to do. So we got 2 copies of Drill and Lickbird. Drill and Lickbird is actually something that you will want to play. But this next card is the one I would change out for evenly matched, and that would be 3 copies of Dark Ruler No More. Dark Ruler No More is a really, really powerful card. In this deck, you just don't care. Because most of your cards are trap cards and are like slower, this card doesn't actually help you. I find it to be one of those things where I would just rather it be something else to help me break boards, like Pankratops, evenly matched, Red Reboot, something like that. Or just all 3 evenly matched. This card is just absolutely incredible. It just, in this deck specifically, I think I might change it out for evenlies. And then last is going to be 2 copies of Rivalry of Warlords. Rivalry. You play Zombie World, your opponent can't play the game. It works really, really well. So, that's going to do it for the side deck. Lads, and that's going to do it. Zombie World Eldlich is super fun to play. And, Travis, how much fun is it to play Zombie World Eldlich against it?
I hate you.
Sums it up pretty nicely, I think, with a bow on top. If you want to be able to trounce the meta and just have some fun with some zombies, then check out this deck. It's a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't already, because do it. Help me feed my editor. And until next time, lads, good fun. Have luck.